Good morning, boys and girls. It's Miss Petrelli again, and welcome back to our art class. I just wanted to start our lesson by reviewing that we were working with lines and that we were discussing Vincent van Gogh as our artist. So this is one of his pieces called The Sunflowers, and I just enlarged a portion of this piece so that you could really look and reference the sunflower petals. And we were making our own drawing of sunflowers and how planting gardens and flowers in our environment, in our communities, helps the environment as well as our whole planet. The flowers attract the insects pollinate and create more flowers and spread the seeds around. So it is a whole process where everyone kind of works together to make it happen. And your drawings, I need you to get them back from last week. And if you did not get to finish tracing, I need you to please finish tracing like I'm going to do right now. And yeah, I slipped in my kitchen and I had a little accident. So I am doing my very, very best, and it's gonna take a little time, and I'm not going to be able to do everything perfectly, but I am a Conwell tiger, right? So I'm not gonna quit, and you're not gonna quit, and we're gonna do our best no matter what happens, right? Okay, so I am going to try to trace. Normally, I'd be able to trace very quickly, but right now I'm going to go a little tiny bit slower just to make sure that I do my very best. And in the meantime, while I'm working, and maybe some of you are also working on tracing your lines, your kinds of lines, right? Mostly curved because we're dealing with nature. But while I'm doing this, I wanted to talk about the color for today. So we're gonna choose colors, and after we've chosen the color that we're gonna work with, I wanna talk about creating form, right? So we're using lines that are creating spaces or shapes. And let's see, we are going to choose a color family. Now, since these are sunflowers, they are primarily, that means mostly, they are yellow and orange and different values of those colors. And I wanted to show you that there are two other families of colors, right? We do things in families of colors, like the primary colors, the secondary colors, and some other families of colors that we use a lot, and that should be our artist tools, part of our artist tools, which is the information that we have, are two families that are super important. They are called the warm and cool colors. So, can anybody tell the class why these colors would be considered the warm colors? Warm. Let's think about that. What makes us feel warm? Yes, the heat in our houses or homes. What else makes us warm? A sweater like the one that I have on? Yes. But what makes us feel warm outdoors? Yeah, if you said the sun, you're correct. The sun makes us feel warm. And the sun is usually these warm colors, right? Have we ever seen a green sun? No, that's reserved for grass and trees and leaves and things like that, right? Have you ever seen a purple sun? How about a blue sun? Me either. So the warm colors remind us of the sun. and they are red and orange and yellow. And the cool colors remind us of maybe being cold in the wintertime, right? Or remind us of the water in the ocean, or of the sky, or many other things, right? Maybe a windy day, okay? But we are going to focus on the warm colors for today, okay? So I'm gonna leave those there. I'm gonna get rid of these guys. And we're just gonna work with the warm colors. So now that I have finished tracing, I am going to do my very, very best to color. And what I like to do is, my favorite thing to do as an artist is blend colors. So I do it in all my paintings and all my artwork, and we're going to do it together too. So if you want to start with the yellow, that's what I like to do first. I'm gonna start with yellow, and I'm going to color each flower petal with my yellow. And I don't have to press very, very hard, but I do want to fill in all of the white spaces. And how do I do that? One way is by coloring in one way, in one direction. So I'm going to continue side to side here. Since I can't do my most careful work right now because I'm a lefty, and my left hand is injured, I can use this finger from my other hand to block where I don't want the crayon to go. So if I don't want to put yellow in this area, I can just put my finger here and it will stop the color from entering this space. And that's a little trick my dad showed me. Okay, and because I gotta rest this, I'm gonna actually use my right hand, and some of you may be able to do that, and some of you might not, and that's perfectly okay. Because we always have one hand that's dominant, or that's more powerful, or has more control than the other one. So right now what I'm doing is I'm laying down this yellow color onto my petals, and I'm trying to go slowly and carefully and fill in all of the white spaces. And why do I always say fill in all the white spaces? Who remembers? Very good. For those of you who said that it's going to be more colorful, the more color you add, the more full of color the area is, it will be more colorful, and you are correct. Your eye is drawn to the color, among other things. But look at Vincent's. Vincent van Gogh's piece is full of color, right? And that's what makes it so attractive to our eye. If it was a lot of blank white space, we might not be so interested. So we always want to make our artwork as colorful as we can. Okay. Great. Okay, now I'm going to take my orange and I'm going to leave all of the tips of my petals. I'm going to leave those yellow. But here, towards the center, I'm going to add some orange. Now you don't have to press very hard if you don't want to, and if you do want to, you can. But I'm just gonna add some orange here. And I'm going to go all the way around. And what that does is that helps to give it a more realistic look. Why? Because here I have one of my sunflowers that I had beautifully new last week, and now the petals are starting to, fall off because it's dying, unfortunately. But if you look here, see those wrinkles and creases in there? They appear darker. Why? Because the light is not able to hit inside of those folds, right? And so it is darker. Like if we take our hand and we hold it like this with our palm open, it's very bright and the light is hitting it. But if I close it up, now what happens? That's right, it has become darker because I'm blocking the light from entering the palm of my hand. So that's kind of what we're trying to do, is to show that these petals are real and have folds and are a form, that they're not flat like a shape. Drop my crayons. Okay, so now I'm gonna continue to go around with my orange crayon. Okay. And also, by the way, just because you're at the point where you've traced everything and you've included a bee and a sunflower or two, doesn't mean that you can't add more elements. You absolutely can add another insect down here. You can add some leaves. You can go like this and add leaves to your sunflowers. There's a couple here in Vincent van Gogh's that I can see. And you can fill in more space or whatever you like. And then also, since we were discussing visual textures last time, I might want to add some dots with my marker if you have markers. If you have crayons, it's easier sometimes to just make little marks or little lines. And they could be curved like this to help show that the center of your sunflower is bumpy and has all of those little parts that project outward, right? That pop out and are 3D. So I can add with my marker so that I don't have to trace all of this from a pencil. And that makes it look more realistic, I think. So you can do that right with the marker if you like. And I think I'm gonna do it here a little bit. Little curved lines in every direction. And some dots. Some little points with my marker. And that's gonna make it look more interesting and more realistic, right? Because we're fabulous artists. Okay, so now, let's see. I'm going to continue with this orange. And basically what I'd like you to do today, boys and girls, is to finish this piece by adding color. So I want you to show the warm colors for the sunflowers, because that is truly the color family that the sunflowers are. These are a little more orangey. If you'd like to make them orange and you don't want to put a lot of yellow, you can do this. You can add a lot of orange. Maybe just leave the edge yellow a little bit, but you can press harder to make it a darker value of that orange if you like. And I like that too. I think that looks really, really nice and interesting and exciting to my eye. I love to look at how the colors are mixing together and creating a lighter orange and a darker yellow. And then finally, I know that these sunflowers don't have red in them. I'm looking at the sunflower. They don't have red in them, but if I want to, just in here where it's right at the center, if I add a little tiny, tiny bit of red right here in the center, close to this middle of the flower, it just blends in with the orange crayon, and it looks like a darker value of orange. Now I'm really pressing hard with this red, but let me show you. Let me bring you a little closer. Do you see how it doesn't look red? It doesn't really look like this. It looks more like a darker orange, okay? And so that is going to give it a really wonderful quality. And I think that that's what would look really, really great on your pieces as well. And that is using only the what color family? That's right, boys and girls. If you said the warm colors, you are correct. And if you look at Vincent van Gogh's, he has the warm colors in his sunflowers. And then he has the what colors in the background? That's right, the cool colors. Where did I put them? The cool colors are actually in the background. Here where it might be the sky and the stems and the leaves, right? So there isn't any purple, but there are 2 out of the 3, right? And if you wanted to put purple in your sky, you could, right? Because it could be sunrise or sunset. So you are able to use both color families in the same piece. And those colors complement one another. They make each other look their best. These are all of the prior knowledge. This is all the prior knowledge that we have as artists that help us to make better and more meaningful art as we grow older, right? The more information we have, the better the decisions we can make about our artwork. So I am going to ask you to please work super hard on this and take your time. And I am so excited to see what your artwork turns out to look like. You know that I only have a certain amount of time so that I can get these videos up for you. So I'm just going to really quickly go into this part and maybe show you that the stems, you could do green. I know you know this already because we talked about leaves and stems and grass being green and never in the sky. But you can take your time. You can color like this in one direction, filling in all the white spaces. And as far as the empty space, all of this negative space around in the background, you can use a broken crayon if you have a broken crayon. You can peel the paper maybe, ask permission if you can do that, and then you could do a rubbing. You could rub the broken piece of the crayon back here, or you don't have to, and I certainly don't want you to break a crayon on purpose, but I would take my crayon and in one direction, very carefully and slowly, like I'm doing right now, I would fill all of this in. If I fill it in with color, it makes everything stand out more, right? The light yellow against a dark blue makes this yellow really pop, right? Makes it stand out, like jump off the page. And that's what makes it exciting to see your artwork. Okay? So I just want you to please take your time. Always show your best effort and work on finishing this piece. Okay? And by the way, I am super duper proud of you all. I really, really am. And I know that if Vincent van Gogh was around, he'd be really proud of you too. So thank you so much, boys and girls, for being with me today in our class, and I hope that you have a great week. Please remember to hand these in. Send them in by Friday. Show me what you've got. All right? Thanks a lot, boys and girls. I'll see you next time. Bye.